Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this exciting episode of Masterminds by Governance Now. This is Kailashnath Adhikari, Managing Director, Governance Now, and it gives me immense proud privilege today to welcome none other than Shri T.P. Oswalji, international and domestic tax expert. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this masterclass on
Thank you.
taxation and economy.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, pleasure, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Shri T.P. Oswal, fondly addressed as TP, is the founding partner of the firm and has been in practice since 1978. He has extensive experience in advising national and multinational clients in direct tax, personal tax, transfer pricing, business acquisitions, mergers, joint ventures, etc., in addition to the traditional areas of audit and assurance and company law. Over 30 years, he has extensively advised a host of corporate and business houses engaged in diverse range of businesses on cross-border transactions. He has been named as the 11th in the top 50 tax professionals in the world for the year 2006-7 by Tax Business Magazine of UK in November 2006. Under his dynamic leadership, his firm, Messrs. T.P. Oswal and Associates, was rated as one of the best Tier 2 firms of India by World Tax, the comprehensive guide to the world's leading tax firms for 2009-10, and was also named amongst the first 10 leading transfer pricing advisors in India. He's the ex-vice chairman of IFA, International Fiscal Association, Netherlands. He's ex-chairman of the International Fiscal Association, India branch as well. He presented India as a panelist on the taxation of e-commerce policy issues at the 55th Annual Congress of International Fiscal Association, Netherlands, held at San Francisco, United States of America. He's on the board of several companies in India, listed and unlisted, including subsidiaries of multinational companies. It's an honor to welcome you, sir, on this masterclass.
Thank you.
As we all know, we have been living in this pandemic. And the pandemic has shaken most of the global economies, with India being no exception. We saw a very dismal GDP number of our first quarter. How do you see the path ahead, or I must say the road to recovery, with now little bit unlocking happening everywhere?
Well, what you are asking this question is quite relevant in the context, today's context, because we are not exception to the world. World economies have shrunk. Ours has shrunk little more than the world economies. Yes. In fact, we for a change, we are exception here. Normally, the growth in India is far, far better than other countries. But at the same time, the downfall is also greater. You can see this happening. GDP has shrunk like anything. GDP going negative by 10%. 10% is a very high negative growth rate.
Yes.
But OECD is also projecting that 10% is the minimum downfall of the GDPs of the world economies. So therefore, this is not. I am also not surprised when I was reading the report released by OECD yesterday, and I found that the similarity is there as far as in fall in GDPs of number of countries. But if you look at the number of the second quarter of the current year, I suppose we are on the way ahead of the other countries as far as recovery is concerned. So recovery has started. However, I would take it is illusory because it is based on the sector specific.
Yes.
So therefore, which are the sector one has to see where the recovery has taken place, or is taking place, or is likely to be faster than other sectors. So this is one area of interest to all economists and everybody, including the financial market, where the recovery is taking place. And that is, we will discuss in the next few questions, which you may ask me on this subject. Bouncing back is happening, and has happened. If you look at the relatively the numbers of the fiscal numbers of listed companies, number of listed companies, Reliance has given their result yesterday. That shows clearly, as compared to the first quarter, second quarter is far, far better. Now they are comparing themselves with the equivalent to the last year's second quarter. Except in the petrochemical business, they have a little less recovery because, that sector itself, because the oil and gas prices, raw material prices have collapsed. And as a result of that, the turnover may not be, that inflation in the turnover has gone down. Otherwise, profitability is not that bad if you look at. And that has been the result. Even today, Indian oil has shown, Bharat Petroleum has shown, and Hindustan Petroleum has also shown. They are comparable companies. So therefore, that sector In fact, we felt that oil and gas, because of the lockdown, first quarter as was washed out. Automobile industry was not doing well. There were no transport in the on the roads, but oil and gas was produced, and second quarter has picked up fully.
Second quarter has picked up fully. So you see that with the second quarter, things are bouncing back in terms of the major sectors. Yes, first quarter was somewhat dismal because of the extreme lockdown in various parts of the world. But with second quarter, now with unlocking happening, it will improve. Naturally, it depends upon various sectors, as you said, and which automatically brings me to my next question. Based on your rich experience, which sectors do you feel will bounce back faster and what will take more time?
You see, first of all, certain sectors which are not which had no impact. For example, pharmaceutical companies.
Yes.
They were doing roaring business.
Yes.
Because I am connected with two pharma companies, one in Delhi and one in Ahmedabad. They are doing phenomenally good job. So therefore, pharma sector was not impacted at all. FMCG sector was not impacted at all. Retail, in case of a grocery business, has been doing a booming business. They are not impacted. Unorganized sector was impacted, whereas organized retail has outbeaten the other sectors. And particularly, what is relevant here in this context, today's context, the technology is going to play major role. Any business and every business, if it is linked with, if you are ready to change yourselves with the time and keep yourself abreast with the latest technology, I think you have a best day. I can guarantee you that is not only for the corporates, even for an individual. There is a huge job loss which has taken place. But those who have adopted new technology in terms of their ability to deliver the goods or ability to handle new technological issues, I think they are not lagging. There is a major demand for such people. They are doing very well. And therefore, and simplest example, if you take telecommunication sector, in the worst of the scenario, they have done roaring business. Jio's results were out. You can see the growth is 3 times. Because now, see, the school and colleges have adopted technology. And every person every child who is studying in the schools is required to now undertake his education through computer or iPad or phone. How do you do that? It means those who are particularly person like me who is old, does not adopt themselves with the latest technology, automatically people learned the new technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So therefore, technological sector is one of the major sector which is going to benefit. And there lies edge. India has an edge over others because we are giving technological solutions to the world. All our IT companies, Infosys, TCS, the HCL, or Wipro, all these companies are doing exceedingly well. If you have a right product mix in your company, I am sure, and if you are adopting latest technology, artificial intelligence, then you have nothing to bother about.
Absolutely. So these are the prime sectors, as you said. Pharma benefited a lot naturally because we were amidst a pandemic, and pharma, FMCG also, sir. I mean, yes, amongst the FMCG sector, you had your personal care and hygiene products, which were doing very well. But now,
hygiene has become a paramount. The new way of life. Yes. You have to wash your hand. You have to use sanitization, and that is another new product line. And therefore, those companies, and now you see disinfectant which have come in. Huge number of companies which are now producing the sprays which are used for spraying on the various products. Now the companies which are technological companies have shifted themselves on a mask production. Mask is being produced in a major automobile companies. So therefore people have adopted new way of life. And if you are quick in adopting, you will not lose. You will definitely make a business.
You have to be there. Like, most of my friends who run factories of some other things, but it is all about capacity utilization.
Correct.
You have machinery, you have everything. If now the demand of, let's say, some apparel is not there, but the demand of mask is there, then
Yeah.
immediately they started making masks.
Correct.
That's the capacity, as you rightly
So
said,
therefore,
move ahead with times.
Therefore, economists say the green shoots are seen. You can see the green shoots are happening. They are seen.
Absolutely.
So it means.
And we can also see from the GST collection.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Now, as we are talking about recovery and economic growth, it both needs private and public investment. What measures, according to you, must be taken to stimulate investment and boost demand? Because at the end of the day, when demand is boosted, the consumption will increase. That's when the economy will really increase.
I'll give you one example. If
Sure.
you look at the example of Japanese government, what they did they gave 150,000 equivalent rupees or $2,000 equivalent to every household in Japan. And they said you can use this money for buying consumer goods, consumer durables, consumer durables. What was the intention? To propel the demand. And that, because everybody has, but if you have got a money and you have to spend that money, then there is an incentive for you to do that, and government compelled people to do, and therefore that sector got revived totally. So
Absolutely.
the government of India also will have to think rationally like this, very innovatively, and rather than just concentrating only on the banking sector in interest and all those sort of things. Our government has been trying their best to take all the measures possible, but because of paucity of funds with us, we have not been able to spend huge money on the incentivizing the people, so that we cannot give a lot of money to the public at large. But we have also picked up that strata of the society, people who are downtrodden, and therefore we also incentivize them in number of ways. The government of India has done that.
Yes.
And of course, the rich does not need any sort of an incentive. And therefore, every government, whosoever, they are trying in their own way to create the money supply in the hands of. The best example is USA. 3 trillion deficit. And that monies have come in the hands of the investor, and that through the investor it has gone to the FIIs or foreign institutional investor, and through that the monies have come to country like us, emerging market. And that is one of the reasons why you can see that Indian markets have not slipped at all. They are continuously, they are better than last year.
True. That was a very important phenomenon that we saw during the lockdown. And I'm sure that these questions will also come up. Now, sir, if we talk about, as you rightly said, that, of course, India has a certain, Indian economy is going through deficit, and there is a capacity to which the government can also do. But how can they actually stimulate? We are talking about the downtrodden, about the poor, about the less privileged, about giving them, let's say, food subsidies given or free grains are given. But how about how they can actually stimulate companies? Because when the entrepreneurship grows, when the companies grow, when new projects are sanctioned, when new projects are taken up, that's when your demand improves. In terms of, let's say, if a housing projects come up, you have steel, you have cement demand coming up, you have property tax being paid, you have people buying through various banking products, banks also run, and that's how labor is also employed. So what impetus can companies get to grow further?
Say, for example, to propel the demand in the real estate sector, what the state of Maharashtra did is a reduction in the stamp duty.
Yes.
They have brought down the rate of stamp duty to 2%, which was a good move. They ought to have also, government ought to have also rationalized the GST rates on the real estate sector. This is one sector which is really, there was a flight taking place from India, from major cities, of the laborers from and migrate. They are migrating to their villages, and they have migrated. Though substantial number of people have come back, but that was one time opportunity the government had, that to develop the rural sector. Government ought to have developed the hospital. They should have created hospitals in the rural areas. That would have helped possibly to take care of the pandemic type of situation, rather than doing anything else. Government has spent money on the road development, no doubt, which was very important, because if the laborers were available in the villages, in their own hometown, one should have taken the advantage in creating the road sector or the dams, etc., which is necessary. In the olden days, why the kings were constructing Taj Mahal and all other monuments which are today's monument? It is not because of the love and affection, but also keeping the social objective in the mind.
Absolutely.
If there is a drought, if the money has to be supplied in the hands of the poor people, laborers, give them the job, and the job which creates both advantages for the economy as well as for the employees, for the employment sector. So the Taj Mahal was created. Likewise, every country, every king used to do that. But this government is also doing that. For example, we have the road sector. Mr. Gadkari is doing extremely good job in ensuring that the roads are being developed. So similarly, look at today, Prime Minister has inaugurated that seaplane.
Yes.
Seaplane has come up from Ahmedabad to that Kovadia. So therefore, these are all sectors, because otherwise, how do you develop the tourism sector in the country? The tourism, India has natural tourism, but people also want artificial tourism also. So Sardar Patel statue was created at Narmada Dam, and that whole place was uplifted in such a way that now yesterday he inaugurated the cactus farm.
Yes.
And cactus is one of the product which is a very, very medicinal product. When I was in Mexico, I saw people are eating as a matter of daily routine, as a food item, cactus is eaten. And I also eaten along with them because they offered me. I said, you eat it. When they were eating, I could not realize that what is wrong about it. And I ate. It was fantastic. So therefore, and it has a lot of medicinal value. You see why other prime ministers have not done this. This government is trying to do their best to find out what are the innovative things available in the world. And we are a tropical country like Mexico. Take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
And we are doing, and that helps creation of employment, that helps creation of a value, asset creation in the country, and that is ultimately creation of the tourism spots, which will eventually pay you in long run.
True. So, one important aspect which you mentioned was that since we are talking about roads, infrastructure, that's where the investment in a large amount goes, because that creates demand for various sectors. One very important is that we could have created hospitals in rural areas. That will also provide employment. That will also need steel, cement, and at the same time, in the times of pandemic, it can help people. I mean, building medical infrastructure has so many multiple advantages. From our talk, I just realized that.
Just look at. We have masses which are poorer and poorer people in the rural area. And if there is a COVID for them, where they will go? They will rush to the cities. Instead of people rushing to the cities, if there is a temporary stopgap hospitals created, we have created so many centers for admitting COVID patient in Mumbai. For example, at the NSCI, or for example, that race course or Bandra. All such centers, no doubt it is a need of our in Mumbai because there is a huge population here. But similar small centers, every district place should have been created. And I hope it must have been created.
Absolutely.
But not known to us. So therefore, wide publicity also should be given about that. So people don't then migrate, And second thing which I was saying is that when you have migration of the people from cities to the rural areas, and there is a reverse migration also. Real estate sector affected substantially in the first 3 months of the COVID, say April, May, June. But July onward, they started reviving the project. I am on the board of a real estate company, and I have seen we have completed real estate project, and there was a huge demand in the month of July onward of the real estate residential complex. Commercial, of course, has gone down little because there is a shift in the process of the type of demand. If a person has a 2-bedroom, he wants now 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom because now the concept of work from home has come in.
Yes.
Everybody is expected to do, if husband and wife both are working, they need 2 rooms because the confidentiality of their business employer is also equally important. The children need 3rd room because of the education. So therefore, the smaller housing companies, smaller housing projects converted themselves into a large number of bedroom houses, and there is a good demand for that. And there are people who have set up housing exchange companies. You sell your old house and buy a new house in my project. And we will enable you to do that. We will arrange the finance, we will arrange everything, and people are so happy. As a result, a lot of new technique which have come in the doing business.
Absolutely. So you're now an international and domestic tax expert. Do you believe some more measures should have been taken to relax the personal and corporate tax structure, given the fact that such times, in order to boost demand, disposable income in the hands of individuals must increase? So given your vast expertise and knowledge, what measures in personal and corporate tax structure should have been taken?
Before going into the corporate and personal tax structure, let me give you one simple example, one simple scheme. Government ought to have realized that the gold in India held by individuals or families is huge. And if you can mobilize that gold in the treasury of the government, and you can see your ability to print notes increases. Your ability to therefore convert into a currency.
Yes.
So therefore, government ought to have incentivized people to offer their gold to the government by way of a deposit, by way of attracting very nominal tax. I don't want to say that you give an amnesty, but ask them to deposit the gold, and we will not ask you any questions. What is your source of gold? Because people have gold held for years together, family gold, inherited gold. So deposit with the government, you will get back this gold after 10 years. And with that gold, suppose if you get 50 tons of 100 tons of or 500 tons of gold, the government of India can then print ability to print lot of currency like US government does it. So that is missed opportunity. Second thing, what you are asking me, a very valid question. Income tax rate ought to have come down. Instead, the government is working in a reverse mechanism. The rich is taxed further more than what it is. Actually speaking, who is the person who gives an employment in this country? The rich person. Correct? Yes. A person who has ability to retain some money with him. Then he can plow back that surplus into a business. And if he plows back the business surplus into the business, that will create more opportunities for employment. Sure. Which instead of that, the government of India said, no, rich is paying very less tax and they should be paying tax like any other European countries where the tax rate is above 45%. But look at, and our rate of tax today is 42.7% on anybody having an income more than 2 crores of more than 5 crores of rupees.
Yes.
But that rate of tax goes up, starts from 10 lakhs of rupees, which is very bad. If you have earned 10 lakhs, 11 lakhs of rupees, but your income is 5 crore, from 10 lakhs only the rate of 43% goes to the government. Yes. There is a pure disincentive to earn so much of money, and therefore people would create new tax planning opportunities. I think this was one thing which government ought to have thought of seriously and brought down the rate of tax to 35% and continued with that concept. And possibly corporate rate of tax have been reduced 2 years before, a year before. So the Indian rate of corporate rate of tax is comparable with world number of countries. And even we have a 15% rate of tax, new industries, which is starting and completing before 31st March 2023. Production commences, the rate of tax is 15%, which is fantastic, which is comparable with lower than even a country like Singapore.
Okay.
And therefore, I believe the government now should do a big marketing to get the industry shifted from China to India. The US, Japan, and other countries are doing their best to see that the industries are shifting and once shifted from China. And we should take advantage of that. And I do not know at a micro level how much advantage government has taken. There are some other countries like Vietnam and Indonesia. They have taken better advantage than us because they are proactively canvassing industries and an atmosphere in India for setting up new business, for creating opportunities of doing business is bad because bureaucracy and red tapeism. So much of a bureaucracy and so much of red tapeism there it is impossible for anybody to start a business here. The
Hmm.
moment you start a business, Inspector Raj, every GST inspector will come, the other inspectors will come, license Raj is there, and therefore politics is of the license Raj is huge in this country.
Hmm.
Therefore, these are the things which should have been smoothened.
Smoothened.
Rate of tax, changing the rate of tax does not give a significant advantage to industry. No doubt it gives better advantage, but the all corruption and bureaucratic processes, delays which takes place, if that is removed, then that would have helped the people. For example, if you have reduction in the rate of tax, but C and AG sitting on the job of the income tax officer or customs officer. As a result, the person who is doing the assessment, he is always in the fear that the CAG will point it out to him. So therefore, he believes that let us make a mistake on the let us err on the side of the government rather than in favor of the taxpayer. No doubt the decision making is in favor of the taxpayer if there is a consideration involved. If they get some money from the taxpayer, they do that. But therefore there is no honesty. So therefore here government should remove the corruption, and the government is right in taking number of steps. For example, this year onward, there is a faceless assessment likely to happen. And that is exactly for the reason for removing the corruption. And I must salute the government. But if the intents are good, and if they can hold the revenue officers that you are accountable for taking wrong decision and you will be punished, then things will improve in this country, not till then. And the government, Prime Minister is already on the record saying that accountability will be introduced. But statutorily, I have not seen any accountability brought in under the income tax law.
So that's true. I mean, what you're saying is that, India has a golden opportunity post the pandemic to shift the manufacturing from China, but we lack on certain factors. A, ease of doing business. It is just on paper. Secondly, yes, there is bureaucratic problems, as you just mentioned out, and red tapeism. If these issues are tackled, if there is a conducive environment for someone to step in and do business, then naturally India holds a significant importance and golden opportunity. Now, sir, since this is
let me give one simple example. Example how it can be done.
Sure.
You attract the new industries here and tell them, if your compound growth every year after year is 30%, we will not ask any inspectors to come to your factory. Income tax assessment will be accepted, will not be asked to question. Your officer will not sit on the judgment how you are shown this profit or that profit, whether it is correct or not. If there is a growth available, they are paying more taxes. Let us accept. And after 5 years, you see what is happening in the position. After 5 or 7 years, you create a program. We will not question you anything for next 5 years. And no reopening, no retrospective changes in the law. That's very important. Otherwise, our government of India, one thing which I have seen, Vodafone, they won before the Supreme Court. They won before the Singapore arbitration. And still there is no peace in their mind. The government of India says, we will litigate even arbitration. We will not accept the arbitration. This is not correct. This is very, very, very bad.
This creates a very hostile business environment, so to say. Now, sir, since this is a master class, we have numerous students of this particular domain who wish to ask you questions. We have logged them in. We'll start with Lavi Sharma. Lavi, ask your question, please.
Good evening, all. Sir, my question to you is, we saw great traction from foreign investor in the first half of this pandemic hit year into India. How can India, as the most sought destination for foreign investment, given its effort to boost ease of doing business in the recent times?
I just now said that if you want to attract the foreign business to come to India and set up their manufacturing facilities, give them assurance for next 10 years, we will not disturb you. No assessing officer, no inspector can visit your factory. There should be a statutory framework. And in case if somebody visits and you complain, that man will be fired. And there should be a framework, and this should be created a legislation, and accountability should be brought in so that the industry is quite confident that this is one place where you have an ease of business. Let's go and do the business here. And create another thing is create industrial park For example, Japanese are asking for an industrial park. So all the Japanese company want to come together and set up these facilities. Likewise, you give the industrial park for not small one, huge parks for Germany, for Japanese, for Americans, for Koreans, separate. In each state, you have 30 states. So in each state, 30 different countries parks can be created. And therefore, people will be happy to set up the offices here.
Sure. So, the crux lies in the fact that, as Sir mentioned, that it is an ease of doing business, and if certain steps are taken in those direction, then actually foreign multinationals will come. And we also saw, as you mentioned about Reliance, the kind of massive fundraise, and it attracted big names such as Facebook, it attracted Google, it attracted all the major private equity players, not only into the telecom sector, the telecom technology sector, but also in the retail space, which talks about the growth story of India, that you have a large population, which is your consumer. Only if certain things are right, this is a golden opportunity. Thank you.
I will give one example. Mr. Adhikari,
Hmm.
you see Alibaba,
You
see Amazon, and use these two companies example, and then compare the Indian JioMart, the retail on a technology business.
E-commerce of Reliance.
Anybody who invested $10,000 in Alibaba or in Amazon in the first year, and today that is billions of dollars. $10,000 has become billion, $2-3 billion. Same example. And I can tell you, unfortunately, the Indian public cannot invest into the Reliance retail because it is unlisted company. But now these foreign investors, they are smart. They know what is happening in the world and where people are making money. This is the sector where people are going to make money. So therefore, this is an opportunity. Those who have made investment now, they will multiply it many-fold. And that's why, you can't beat Mukesh Ambani in terms of doing business in this country. And he is a visionary. And he has a vision. And that's why he could attract so much of investment in this country.
Absolutely. As you rightly said that, currently investors, because since it's an unlisted company, but it will list soon. So there will be an opportunity which Reliance will give to each and everyone to invest into their company. Right, for good reasons. We have Shumaila now. Shumaila, can you ask your question? Shumaila Khan.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah. So, sir, my question is that as we know that one of the pillar of Atmanirbhar Bharat is economy. So, what I wanted to know your views on the Atmanirbhar package, which government has announced to stimulate the economic growth and recovery.
Everybody, when this Atmanirbhar Hindi term, which was developed by Prime Minister, people felt it is totally made in India and manufactured in India for export, etc., etc. But he went on clarifying this concept. Atmanirbhar in the sense what? You set up a business here, you take support from foreigners, and then you do business. You can be a partner with them also. The technology may come from the others, and you manufacture here and then sell it. And then you sell it in India as well as sell it to the world market. So therefore, people are dependent on you, not you are dependent on the others. So therefore, Atmanirbhar Bharat is a concept. It is not Atmanirbhar package means you manufacture only Indian product from India, by India, in India. No, it is from others also. Foreigners can also come. In other words, it is again indirectly shifting of your manufacturing facilities to India. And therefore, if you can do, your laborers are here in India, land is in India, labor is in India. Labor, there is no dearth of the labor here, cheap labor. Raw material is available here. And if raw material is required to be imported, import it. But the government of India doesn't say that you can't do that. They said, therefore, please do that. And then you start your manufacturing facility and then you sell. I think this is one concept which the government of India has developed. We must compliment and salute Prime Minister for creating new terminology with the same economic package the government of India has given. The self-reliant, I would take a view, is Atmanirbhar.
It's somewhat like Make in India.
Yes.
5 साल पहले Make in India की बात थी, तो आत्मनिर्भर भारत क्या है? अपने आप पे निर्भर रहो.
हाँ, the America says America first. तो हम क्या कह रहे हैं? Atmanirbhar. We say Atmanirbhar, Hindi term.
So
What is
naturally,
wrong about it?
Atmanirbhar Bharat is a very positive scheme introduced by the government, and it only talks about strengthening the roots of Indian companies, be it manufacturing, service sector, or even agriculture, which as a singular segment is the largest contributor to GDP also today. Thank
Correct.
you so much, Shumaila, for your question. Thank you. We have Ragini.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
So, sir, just hearing you and you have provided nice insights about FMCG sector. Another important sector coming into my mind is micro, small, medium enterprises. So, the rising amount of bad debts have always been a pressing issue for our Indian banking sector, and the pandemic has already doubled this woes. So now, on other hand, banks are wary of lending, and on the other side, MSMEs are struggling to avail this credit. So I would like to know your suggestion about this complex issue.
Yes, you see the
MSME. Problem with MSME, sir.
problem with Indian banks is they are flushed with the funds. They are ready to deposit the money into the Reserve Bank of India, but they are not ready to lend the money to MSME. And despite the fact the government of India has been compelling them to do that, but still ultimately bankers are all bankers, whether it is a government bank or a private bank, because unfortunately there is a carrot and stick both. If you do not perform well, there is a stick, and that fear is there in their mind. If the bad debts are there, then who will be responsible? And we have seen people are being not only fired, they are put behind the bars.
Yes.
And this is what exactly my problem when I was saying that C&AG, one
Yes.
agency who is responsible for degrowth of this country. And they should be motivated, and they should be trained, and they should be told, if you also make a mistake in observing wrong things, we will hold you also responsible. There must be a supervisor on C&AG also, which is not happening here in this country. Otherwise, MSME, India has huge potentiality. Every Indian is an entrepreneur. And therefore, if you give an opportunity, if you give them the funds, if you give them money in their hands, they will create tea stall, they will create a vada pav stall, they will create something in the on the roadside, and later on they make money, and thereafter they will grow and increase the business, and then they will take a shops. Possibly this roadside business should stop. If you want public hygiene to be considered as important, paramount important, you create smaller the shops and give them on a rent and for a particular term. If you are not successful, we will take it back. If you are successful, you can buy out. That option should be also given to them. That should sort of a opportunity should be created. Now, for example, you are holding a lot of companies, for example, HDIL or DHFL, which went bankrupt, and they are huge land banks. Why don't you tap those land banks who are holding those land banks and ask them to create such sectors? And for the smaller people, small and medium size enterprises, and give them the shopping area where they will do the business. Remove all hutments from not hutments, these stalls on the roadside, so that public health is taken care. Today, if you have to do a vegetable shopping, what do? You go on a footpath. Very bad. You feel very, disguised. There are no good shops selling fruits and vegetables in Bombay. I have seen this happening in Chennai. If you go to Chennai, there are shops available. But in Mumbai, there is nothing. Everything you have to buy on the roads, which is very bad.
Some amount of organization is needed in that step. And you very rightly pointed out, I can recall one of my talk with an public sector bank official, and he's like that अगर ये 5 C's अगर हमारे सर से हट गए ना तो हम अच्छे डिसीजन ले सकते हैं या डिसीजन ले सकते हैं.
Correct.
And,
that means, sir, you're saying like stringent action is needed by government to ensure this cash flow to MSME.
नहीं, गवर्नमेंट तो इंश्योर कर रही है. गवर्नमेंट तो बैंकों को बोल रही है दीजिए पैसा. वो बैंकर्स नहीं दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि बैंकर्स को देने के लिए एक तरफ तो बोलते हैं कि आप दे दीजिए इनको पैसा, और दूसरी तरफ वो एक डंडा भी हाथ में रखा है. आप परफॉर्म नहीं करोगे, बैड डेट्स करोगे, आपका डेट्स बैड हो जाएगा, तो हम आपका डंडा चलाएंगे. आपके ऊपर सीबीआई लग जाएगी, आपके ऊपर एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टर लग जाएगा, आपने पीएमएलए लग जाएगा आपके ऊपर, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग किया आपने. तो वो डर के कारण कोई बैंकर लोन देने को तैयार नहीं है। तो बैंक क्या कर रही है आज के तारीख में, सरप्लस फंड इतना भी जो आ रहा है वो रिजर्व बैंक में रिवर्स रिपो में रख रही है। बाजार में रेट 4% है, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया 3.5% दे रहा है, कोई हरकत नहीं, रखो पैसा, सेफ है, पैसा तो कहीं जाएगा नहीं, बैड डेट तो नहीं होगा, नहीं तो 2 साल के बाद वापस 500 करोड़ 1000 करोड़ राइट ऑफ
पूछेगा नहीं
करना
हमको
पड़ेगा।
आगे जाके, कोई पूछेगा नहीं हमने ऐसा क्यों किया।
हाँ, कोई नहीं पूछेगा, ऐसा उनको लग रहा है।
कहीं ना कहीं यही एक मेंटालिटी का सवाल है कि जो बदलनी चाहिए, कि अगर इंडस्ट्री को आपको ग्रो करवाना है,
हाँ जी,
तो आपको इंडस्ट्री को सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा। जैसे आपने यूएस का एग्जांपल दिया कि
I'll
वहां
just start the light.
हाउसहोल्ड के खाते में सीधा पैसा गया।
हाँ जी सर,
जैसे आपने कहा कि यूएसए में सीधा हाउसहोल्ड के खाते में पैसा गया कि भाई ये पैसा ले और तू खर्च जा।
हाँ, ये जापान ने किया, यूएस ने किया। आज यूएस ने 3 ट्रिलियन का डेफिसिट सरप्लस पैसा बांटा है। अल्टीमेटली उनको भी मालूम है पैसा पूरा खर्चा नहीं होने वाला है। आज अपना पेट भरा हुआ है और आपने को बोलता है कोई 1000 रुपया देता है और वो नहीं, आप जाके बाजार में अच्छा बढ़िया और खाना खा के आइए। क्या आप खाना खाएंगे दूसरी बार? नहीं खाएंगे, क्योंकि आपका पेट तो भरा हुआ है। तो इसके लिए वही वो कंट्री की हालत वही हो रही है। वो पैसा अल्टीमेटली आता किधर है? एफआईआई के पास आता है, इंस्टीट्यूशन के पास आता है, उसके द्वारा वो इमर्जिंग मार्केट में, वो इंस्टीट्यूशन में आने के बाद उनको भी तो रिटर्न चाहिए।
आपके पेंशन फंड्स में आता है, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में आता है, और वही पैसा आपके मतलब इक्विटीज में लग जाता है।
हाँ, वही इमर्जिंग मार्केट की इक्विटी में लग जाता है।
बिल्कुल। थैंक यू सो मच रागिनी। Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ragini. We have Sunil Kumar. Sunil, can we have your question, please?
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sunil.
Sir, my question is: Indian stock market remained positive during this pandemic. So, what do you think? What are the factors must be behind this stability during such time?
The thing which we were, I think, discussing previously. स्टॉक मार्केट स्टेबल रह गए सर, मतलब इंडस्ट्रीज हिट हो गई, सब हिट हो गया, बट स्टॉक मार्केट आपके हिले नहीं।
स्टॉक मार्केट तो जोर से चल रहा है, लोगों के पैसा ही बना है स्टॉक मार्केट में। इंडस्ट्री देखिए चली है नहीं चली है, लेकिन मनी का फ्लो इंडिया में इतना आ रहा है, तो उसके कारण एफआईआई का पैसा इधर आ रहा है, तो स्टॉक चल रहा है। अल्टीमेटली व्हाट इज द स्टॉक, द डिमांड एंड सप्लाई थियरी वर्क्स। आपकी डिमांड ज्यादा है और आपके पास सप्लाई उतनी लिमिटेड है, तो बाजार बढ़ेगा ही बढ़ेगा। नो डाउट इनिशियल पीरियड में मार्केट गिरा। मार्च 23 को जब लॉकडाउन डिक्लेयर कर दिया गवर्नमेंट ने, तो उसके बाद मार्केट एक बार जोर से पिटा गया है। लेकिन जैसे ही लोगों के पास पैसा आना शुरू हुआ और एफआईआई ने पैसा लगाना शुरू किया, क्योंकि पहले लगता था लोगों को इंडियन मार्केट महंगा है, लेकिन उसके बाद में जब पैसा इतना आना शुरू हो गया कि लोगों को लगता है कि अरे मैं रह जाऊंगा, मैं इन्वेस्टमेंट पहले करता हूँ, तो सब एफआईआई कंपटीशन में होड़ में इधर इन्वेस्टमेंट करना शुरू करी। आज एक मेजर इमर्जिंग मार्केट आप वर्ल्ड के देखेंगे, इंडिया इज वन ऑफ द लीडिंग इमर्जिंग मार्केट, और रिटर्न्स यहाँ सबसे अच्छा छूट रहा है। यहाँ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री है, हम लोग सिस्टम से काम करते हैं, और हमारी जो स्टॉक मार्केट है वगैरह रेगुलेटेड है, सेबी भी अच्छा काम कर रही है, तो इसके कारण यहाँ लोगों को इन्वेस्टमेंट करने में टेंशन नहीं होता है। लेकिन आप जाके दूसरी जगह करोगे तो क्या पता, मालूम नहीं है। तो एक we are one of the good market for making an investment, and that is the reason why stock market boomed. It came back on the original level from which it went down. Absolutely. And I'm sure, I was told, I'm not an expert on the real stock market. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm in practice. I'm not an investor. I'm not an investment advisor. So I can't predict what will happen. But my gut feeling is it will not go down. This is my gut feeling. It will continue to remain, because the ultimately money also require a place to be invested somewhere. Absolutely. And therefore, this is the market where the investments are going to come. Some aberrations are going to take place, because ultimately, if the downfall does not take place, how people will make money? So people, the smart investors, smart bankers know very well when the market should fall, when it will fall, make further investment. If it goes up too much, sell it, bring it down, and then make an investment. And that's why take advantage of average theory. Everybody does that. And that is the reason why market will go up and down, both will happen. But ultimately, it is on the trajectory of it is on the recovery stage.
Hmm.
Market will see new heights again.
And you know, sir, one more thing, as you mentioned about the FIIs and your pension funds, your large multinational banks and your private equity funds investing, retail का भी तो पैसा था. आज FD में आपको क्या मिल रहा है? आप मुझे बताइए.
कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है. 3%.
अगर इंसान को 4-5% FD में मिलता है और उसके सामने अगर उसने रुचि सोया के स्टॉक में डाल दिया हो, जिसका रेवोल्यूशन IBC में आ गया हो, तो 10 रुपए का 1000 हो जाता है. मतलब barring that example, that was just as in a lighter vein. But the fact is that what are the investment opportunities? Even आज जैसे समझो 4-5 महीना लोग घर पे रहे या 3-4 महीना घर पे रहे, खर्चा इतना हुआ नहीं सिवाय के ग्रोसरी जो पहले होता था. कोई ट्रांसपोर्ट नहीं लगा, कुछ नहीं लगा. Of course, barring the exception कि अगर unfortunately अगर कुछ लोगों की jobs गई है, naturally that is a pain point of course for the pandemic. But अगर आप घर से हो, अगर आप काम कर रहे हो, by the grace of God अगर आपकी job secure है, तो आपके पास भी वो liquidity है अपने अपने लेवल पे. अगर वो आज इंडिया का जो बूमिंग मिडिल क्लास है 700-800 मिलियन, अगर उसको वो नंबर को जोड़ दिया जाए और उनकी मंथली सेविंग्स जोड़ दी जाए, तो वो कहाँ लगा. आज FD में 4-4.5% है, LIC या कोई भी ऑप्शन. और अच्छा, कोई भी इतना लिक्विफाइबल ऑप्शन नहीं है. आप मान लीजिए प्रॉपर्टी कोई ऐसे लिक्विफाइबल होने नहीं वाली है. आपके पास लिक्विफाइबल में FD है जो 4-4.5% है और स्टॉक्स है.
प्रॉपर्टी का रिटर्न आज एक कोई रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्ट करो और वो भाड़े पे छोड़ने जो 1% रिटर्न छूटता है, तो क्या मतलब बनता है.
कमर्शियल में तो होगा ही नहीं, बिकॉज ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट आज वर्क फ्रॉम होम के कल्चर में बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों ने अनाउंस किया है कि हम जुलाई 2021 भी मतलब अगस्त तक वर्क फ्रॉम होम करेंगे. तो कमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट की डिमांड एक बहुत ही होने वाली है. ऑफ कोर्स रेसिडेंशियल जैसे आपने पहले अपने एक एग्जांपल में कहा कि वो जरूर पिकअप करेंगी क्योंकि वर्क फ्रॉम होम का कल्चर भी बढ़ रहा है काफी एग्जीक्यूटिव्स के लिए. सो नेचुरली एक मार्केट्स में पैसा रिटेल का भी इसके वजह से गया क्योंकि दूसरा कोई ऐसा इन्वेस्टमेंट, सेफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, लिक्विफाइबल अपॉर्चुनिटी की कमी होने के कारण.
देखिए मेरे हिसाब से इवन कमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट इन इंडिया विल नॉट बी सो बैडली इम्पैक्टेड. थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट जरूर आएगा, लेकिन अभी क्या हो रहा है, जो इंटरनेशनली मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज है वो अपना बैक ऑफिस इंडिया में शिफ्ट करने की बात कर रहे हैं क्योंकि यहाँ एक स्किल्ड लेबर अवेलेबल है एंड कॉस्ट ऑफ लेबर इज मच चीपर. अमेरिका वीजा नहीं दे रहा है, H1B वीजा नहीं दे रहा है लोगों को, तो ऐसे लोगों को अमेरिका लाके काम करवाना डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है. तो वो क्या कंपनियां कर रही है, इंडिया में सेंटर खोल दो. आपको बताऊं, मॉर्गन स्टैनली ओबेरॉय के रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट, नया प्रोजेक्ट अभी बिल्डिंग बना नहीं है, उसके पहले कॉमर्स 3 करके गोरेगांव में बिल्डिंग बन रहा है. वो 50% बिल्डिंग अभी ले लिया लीज पे, बनने के पहले ही बोले these are our terms for next 20 years, we want to buy. And we will get other investors also from USA to come to invest in your project here. So therefore आप देखिए अभी you name the top industrialists who want to come to India. Everybody has come and made an investment via Reliance, Jio and retail. So similarly they want to create their back offices in India.
Absolutely.
And therefore commercial real estate in India आज तक तो इतना कोई बड़ा ही नहीं था. हमारा एक बम्बई, दिल्ली, हैदराबाद या बेंगलोर छोड़ दो तो कमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट है किधर इंडिया में इतना बड़ा. तो ये इंडिया में कमर्शियल एस्टेट का, रियल एस्टेट का डेवलपमेंट होना शुरू हुआ था, ये पेंडेमिक आ गया. तो मेरे हिसाब से इसका कोई असर थोड़ा स्लो हो गया होगा 6 महीने तक, लेकिन ये चलेगा, जोर से चलेगा.
और दूसरा कि आप मतलब इतना न्यूज में मैंने खुद ने भी पढ़ा, इतनी सारी फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट इसमें आ रही है. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रस्ट अगर आप देखोगे माइंडस्पेस का है, रहेजा का है, कितने सारों का है, मुझे इतने नाम नहीं याद आ रहे, बट एवरीवन इज क्रिएटिंग. एम्बेसी पार्क्स का है और उनका तो लिस्ट हो रहा है. मतलब आपका एंड मिलियंस ऑफ स्क्वायर फीट ले रहे हैं. या बिजनेस मॉडल इजी है ना, आफ्टर ऑल. तो पैसा कहाँ से, इनकम कहाँ से आएगी? भाड़े पे देने से ही आएगी.
करेक्ट है.
आज उतना उसमें हो रहा है, वो कोई पर्सनल हाउसिंग तो नहीं है.
और रियल एस्टेट में जब इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है डेवलपमेंट के लिए, तो स्टील एंड सीमेंट की तो डिमांड बढ़ने वाली है. आप देखिए ये इस क्वार्टर के रिजल्ट में सीमेंट कैपेसिटीज आर बूम्ड, टोटली यूज्ड, एंड देयरफॉर सीमेंट कंपनीज आर डूइंग एक्सीडिंगली वेल. Steel market has started reviving. Tata Steel is doing good job. So all of the steel companies are also. And on the other hand, China is trying to import all the material from India and wanting to hold on the stock because they are fearing tomorrow the America may put sanction on them And if they put sanctions, they will not be able to buy material from the world market, and they have cash liquid available. So instead of dollars, they are now investing into the raw materials.
Yes. Yes.
So as a result, there is a huge demand,
Huge
and
demand.
therefore the Indian market is instead of importing, now we started exporting to China.
एक्सपोर्टिंग सून एक एक्सपोर्ट सरप्लस का भी शायद इंडिया देख पाए. सर मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे रहेगा बिफोर वी रैप अप. हमने इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी की इतनी बातें कही, ये सब कहा, लेकिन बांग्लादेश अपने से आगे है. योर फाइनल थॉट्स ऑन दैट.
बांग्लादेश आगे है क्योंकि उसके कुछ सेक्टर ने बांग्लादेश ने प्रमोट किया है. फॉर एग्जांपल टेक्सटाइल्स एंड द रेडीमेड, which was backbone of India's business. We have not bothered. पूरा टेक्सटाइल मार्केट गुजरात, महाराष्ट्र बैकबोन था, वो खत्म कर दिया हमने. इतना ज्यादा इंसेंटिवाइज नहीं किया, जो जितने भी ज्यादा टैक्सेस लगाने लगा दिए, लेबर महंगा कर दिया, लेकिन बांग्लादेश ने उसको अट्रैक्ट किया. पूरा बिजनेस बांग्लादेश में शिफ्ट हो गया. आप मार्क स्पेंसर में जाइए, 90% प्रोडक्ट मेड इन बांग्लादेश, मेड इन श्रीलंका.
गैप करके बहुत बड़ी यूएस की अपैरल ब्रांड है, उसके हर एक जीन हर एक में मेड इन बांग्लादेश लिखा है.
करेक्ट, आई एग्री. एंड बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट, गैप इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट आई हैव सीन.
गैप इज फैंटास्टिक. गैप के मतलब बीन सब अच्छे, बहुत अच्छे.
Yes, I know that. Unfortunately, they have not come up in a very big way in India, except one store in major cities. They should take up opportunity to be in India in a very
and
large.
they are in that mid range. ऐसा भी नहीं है कि इतना महंगा है कि कोई जा नहीं पाए.
नहीं, सस्ता है हमारे हिसाब से. तो I buy children's clothes from Gap every year. Fantastic opportunity.
लेकिन आप मतलब वही है जैसे हमने कहा कि मेड इन बांग्लादेश. कोई भी आप अपैरल ज़ारा देख लीजिए, ये देख लीजिए, अगर कोई ध्यान से देखेगा तो पता चलेगा मेड इन बांग्लादेश. तो कहीं ना कहीं उन्होंने कुछ सेक्टर
आपको नहीं, आपको बताता हूँ, आपको ये बताऊँ, आप हेरोड स्टोर्स में जाइए लंदन में जी, आपको मेड इन इंडिया प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा. वी आर नॉट फॉर मासेस, वी आर क्वालिटी. महंगा है लेकिन है, हम हर सेक्टर में है, लेकिन हम लोगों को सब सेक्टर में रहना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ महंगा वाला ही बनाएंगे, मासेस के लिए भी बनाइए. क्यों अपॉर्चुनिटी खो रहे हो दुनिया में? दुनिया में दूसरे देशों को अपने अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया. लेबर यहाँ तो कितना. एक दूसरी बात मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग लेबर के लिए क्रिएट करनी जरूरी है. अपना एजुकेशन सिस्टम इतना डिफेक्टिव है. चाइना का मॉडल अपने देखिए, जो आदमी स्कूल में जाता है उसको वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है,
मिलती है,
ताकि वो जैसे ही ट्रेनिंग लेके स्कूलिंग पूरी करता है तो सीधा जॉब में चले जाता है. वो आगे पूरा एजुकेशन नहीं करता, अपना MA BA डबल PhD वगैरह कुछ नहीं करता है. करने वाले करते हैं, लेकिन सब पब्लिक नहीं करती है. और वो स्ट्रेट वे एक्टिविटी, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करो या कुछ भी एक्टिविटी करने के लिए सर्विसेज दो, उसमें लग जाता है. तो इंडिया को ये एक सेक्टर बहुत जरूरी है कि ये डेवलप करना चाहिए. डेमोग्राफिक एडवांटेज इंडिया का इतना बढ़िया है. एवरेज पॉपुलेशन ऑफ इंडिया इज बिलो 35, बिलो 30. सो व्हाई नॉट टू टेक एडवांटेज. यहाँ रोड पे, सड़क पे घूम रहे लोग, भीख मांग रहे हैं, उनको सबको चैनलाइज करिए काम देने में. अच्छा काम दीजिए, ट्रेनिंग दीजिए, और कुछ नहीं करिए.
पावर है आपके पास कहते हैं ना, दो हाथ है, बट वो दो हाथ क्या कर रहे हैं वो आपके ऊपर है.
एग्जैक्टली, बिल्कुल सही बात.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for joining on this episode of Masterminds by Governance Now. And really, I must say that we talked on various spheres, right from economy to tax to equities to resource mobilization to channelization. And this could have only possible with having an expert like yours who has rich experience across the entire field. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.